Hello everybody, my name is Hassan Dumbuya. I'm going to talk about conflict resolutions. Before proceeding further, I would like to acknowledge 3 points. Number one, the livelihood of becoming involved in conflicts as a professional or incident manager or a safety manager is highly, and it is therefore imperative that we train staffs in all sectors of the industry or country or environment to manage such a conflicts in a way that they can kept to a minimum risk. If conflicts should occur, the person or a staff or a manager should have the ability to diffuse them in the safest possible ways. This my explanation is to brief people how you can minimize conflicts. Point number two, conflict resolution refer to the ways we identify conflicts and dealing with it so that hopefully all parties end up in a win-win situations. Conflicts itself can be physically or emotionally. It comes from external sources or within ourselves. When our beliefs and values are threatened, it is often created by a perceptions rather than proving a fact. This simply means that conflict can occur with a perception or assumptions, like for instance, somebody says something but you are not there, but you meet him saying something, then the person immediately stop talking. Then what you assume, what you see is how you are going to perceive it rather than following the fact. What is fact? Fact is logical, is an evidence, is a logical, is not emotion. It doesn't care about emotion. That is fact. Fact simply means logic. There are so many people who have justified things out of emotion, whether it be bad emotion or good emotion in judging, but you should look at facts, Then point number three is to achieve, conflicts is to achieve. This is by no means easy for management or professional or staffs or incident manager, especially when dealing with a criminals who they detain. It's hardly likely to end up in a win-win situation. The potential for physical conflicts in such a circumstance is very high. Alright, so when you are dealing with certain people, for instance, in certain vicinity or in certain ghettos or areas, people's attitude are different from each other. So you have to find a way how you can address those situations, how you can attack those people, how you speak to people. I'm going to highlight common causes of conflicts, right? I'm going to highlight about 12 points, right? Point number one, the causes of conflicts. You're talking about drugs, right? Drugs, direct use of drugs changes our pattern of thoughts, thinking, or perception, and the reaction to situation we are involved in. We are at a greatest risk of disease or illness, which we all also influence our mental state. Indirectly, it may cause debt or situation where we are vulnerable to conflicts. This simply means that the consumption of drugs or toxic, which is not prescribed for a healthy status, it can lead to mental problem, and that simply means that drugs abuse. So that one can lead to conflicts, right? Somebody is highly toxic and so, like that. So you try to speak to the person, that also can lead to conflict. So those are the one reason of conflicts. Then point number two, we're talking about envy and jealousy, right? The reaction to another looks, working ability, wealth, lifestyles, and pay and position and treatment or their standard within that society, within that group, envy and jealousy and other arise. This simply means that if you are in a workplace or if you are in a community, right, some people have a good job whilst others don't have a good job, and some are well paid in offices and others are not well paid. So sometimes because of these things, it leads to quarreling, it leads to jealousy, envy, so which envy should not be a passion. You should try to appreciate. Then I'm going to talk about point number 3, the reason that bring conflicts. You have stress and frustration, and the inability to carry out a task or a life skill due to determined factors or resources or availability or complexity or workload. Social related stress, frustration like relationship problem spring over into our work line and vice versa. Clash may be occur. This is clash of interest. For instance, your relationship and your work. Your work is very hectic, then you have your relationship. So sometimes or you have your friendship. It can lead to conflicts of interest. Like when you are stressed up, the way you speak to sometimes to people, it can lead to query, it can lead to conflicts. So point number 4, I'm going to talk about financial difficulties. Financial difficulties can add extra worries to the lives and changing the way in which we react to a situation, interact with challenges or colleagues or friends or partner or relationship. This simply means that when you're facing financial crisis or someone is facing financial crisis or difficulties, it can lead to anger, wherein this person anger will escalate at any point. So these are some of the reasons, when you are addressing people, you have to be polite. So these are some another reason. Then you're talking about in point number 4 also, you're talking about relationship difficulties. Also sometimes it be stress up, the perception, social activities, and the ability to control our feeling or emotion. It may also lead to a relationship outcome, the partnership which is torn within or conflict or the risks of conflicts. Sometimes relationship also, because of financial difficulty, it can occur. There will be a conflict at times. Then you're talking about discrimination. Discrimination has been also the backbone of so many conflicts in so many countries, right? Discrimination based on the sex, race, creed, caste, colors, sexuality, political beliefs or ideologies, religions, gender. This can cause a problem or a feeling which may also be felt by a group or a society. This has felt by a group or a society. This has also affect or divide people. So this has been a really cause in the world in terms of discrimination, and there's so many agencies, so many organizations who have come on board to talk about discrimination, right? So in other way, discrimination is what will lead to conflicts. Yeah. So I'm going to talk about the 6th point, which is talk about guilt. In my previous videos, I talk about guilt in talking about conflicts, ethic and conflicts management, right? And guilt is something that you live with. You assume that, oh, I'm wrong in some way. So with that perception that you are wrong, instead of you correcting that perception, you go further to keep it in your mind rather than facing the reality. Guilt keep us in a particular situation wherein you always live with it. Oh, because of this my mistake I make in life, I'm a failure. This because of this mistake, so I will not progress. I will not do this thing. So when you live with that guilt, you have to leave all your obstacle that you are facing, all of your mistakes in life, and stop living in that guilt and move forward. So number 6, talking about guilt. We may say, do something which we may later regret. This may make us feel angry with ourselves, and the anger may be taken out on an incident or object, or extremely cases of an other people, you know. So then I'm talking about the 7 points. 7 points talk about intimidation. Intimidation can result to conflicts. Intimidation, our reaction to this is similarly to that of a guilt. We are angry and seek for vengeance and status and positions. You understand? So sometimes people intimidate others. Like, so when you are being intimidated, sometimes it leads to conflicts, or somebody is being intimidated, it can lead to conflicts. I'm going to talk about 8 points which talk about embarrassment, right? When embarrassed, we feel the urge to restore the balance. We avenge the person or the people or the staffs that has been embarrassed us. We act in a way which we feel it's appropriate to restore the respect of our subordinates or ourselves, you know. So sometimes these embarrassments can lead to query, confusion or conflicts. So sometimes when you have been embarrassed by another, in other ways, some people perceive that, oh, I've been embarrassed. So some people fight back. You understand? Some people fight back, and when fighting back, it leads to conflicts. You know. So the 9 points we're talking about dissatisfaction, right? Dissatisfaction, we expect that the quality of our lives and the service that we give during our work life, that is not beneficiary to our effort. So this sometimes it can lead to inner conflicts or outer conflicts, wherein because of that anger, you can extend that one. It can lead to jealousy, and it can lead to self conflicts with interest, you know. Then you're talking about inconvenience, the 10 point inconvenience. We want it, and we want it to done now, right? And replacing the patience with virtue, you know. So sometimes we are impatient or because of inconvenience. Yes, like let's say, for instance, you're sat in places because of something is very slow, you are not achieving what you should achieve. So, or some people are beside you, it can lead to inconvenience, and because without that inconvenience, it can sometimes lead to confusion, it can lead to conflicts. Then I'm talking about the 11 point, which is talking about anxiety, right? Anxiety and fear and worry changing our ways of thinking and our ability to carry out a simple task or a communication of things through rational, you know. So this simply means that because of this anxiety, stress, sometimes the action is supposed to take at that particular moment, like someone give you a task, you cannot execute that task, or your office give you a task to do, or a government give you a task to do, because of fear or because of anxiety, you cannot complete that task. So it sometimes leads to conflicts, you know, even in your home. Okay, your son or your daughter or your father asks you to do something, you fear, you know, so it can lead to conflicts, you know. So these are the basic points of which can cause it conflicts. And I'm going to talk about how you can avoid conflicts, right? How you can avoid conflicts. In dynamics risk assessments, avoiding conflicts, assault or threats, I'm going to highlight the POP, that is place or object, how you can avoid conflicts, right? Like for example, we're talking about the P, which is the people, right? Large number of people, like come a large number of people. In that situation, sometimes conflicts can arise. Then where there is someone is drunk or drugs influence people, it can also you need to avoid that circumstances. Then mental illness people, you have to know how you facing these people. Then refusal of entry, some people refuse to give their details, and they want to enter a certain vicinity or facility. That one also can lead to conflict. So you have to know how to avoid this one, you understand. Then talking about objects, which objects, like offensive weapon, moving vehicle, or needles, these things also can cause conflicts. Then talking about the place, right? Place like the routes, some areas that you give instruction, okay, you have to use this way to enter our business place or our office, or this, sometimes it can lead to, or the staircase, the safety of the staircase, people use that one, so many obstacles, so it can lead to conflicts also, right? Then I'm going to talk about how to reduce conflicts in a workplace. Workplace can either be a business center, governmental place, or a field work, a different area, and even your business place, right? So in like a marketplace, it's applicable in everywhere. So how we can reduce conflicts, right? I'm going to talk about conflicts, reducing conflicts. You as an employer simply mean like a government. If you employ your staffs, then you're talking about employer, like organization, right? So the employer, I'm going to talk about 2 points. The employer contribution, you should make sure that you as an employer, you appreciate your staffs, you take them for training, various trainings and updates. That is number one. Then you also give working condition, you make them, their working condition is very good, and they will appreciate their working condition. Then the condition of the employee, where they stays and all, you have to look into that one. Then you have to make a suitable or sufficient resources, then resources. Then also you have to access control, how they can have access to their areas of work, you understand. Then monitoring the policy, right? What policy you put in place for them, you have to monitor them. Then you have to look at the health and safety, like in their workplace or environment. What are the challenges? What are they exposed to, the threats that they will face? So you have to look to that into consideration. So these are how you can reduce, a employer can reduce conflicts among his staff. These are some of the reasons. Then you're talking about you as an employee, how you can reduce conflicts, right? One, you have to attend trainings. Training in a sense that training how to do your jobs in various areas, how you can be polite, how you address your own jobs. Yeah. Then like customer service, right? Customer service don't mean that you have to be a customer. How you can you have to work in the reception, how you can speak to people. No, customer service means that your politeness in every area, even you are a chairman, a CEO, or how you speak to people, right? Your politeness, your reception is what we means by customer service, right? Then we're talking about the cooperation with other employees. Every employee should have cooperation among each other. How you respect everybody according to their responsibility. This is your job and this is your job. You address people with their own proper name. When it comes to form, there is a form. When it comes to job, there is a job. So then we're talking about the compliance with the policy and procedures of the company, right? then you as a staff, everybody should comply with the rules and regulation. Then the working awareness, you know your job. Then professionalism, always be professional in what jobs you are doing. So if you are not professional, it can lead to query or conflicts between you among your staffs or your employer, right? Then identify cause of problem. Always when there is a problem arise, you cannot do certain job, you try to find someone who can do it. You meet your manager, this is my problem and this is what I'm facing, then solution will come on board. If you cannot solve the problem, you speak to your management. Then and so many alertness of the job responsibility you can face in any challenges in your job. They have to be satisfied. They avoid so many problems. Then we have a step that we call the safer, right? In avoiding conflicts, you have to use the points they call safer. This is safer model assist and avoid and evaluate potential threats. Yeah, it helps when there is a threat, you already see it and you assess it. What is safer? Safer means SAFAR. SAFAR, it means you step backward, right? When you see a situation, you step backward. Do not rush to address any issue. You try to look the situation and think how we are going to address the situation. Then the S stand for assess. Assess means identify what is the cause of this problem, what is the danger, what is the importance. You assess. You understand? Then you're talking about the F. You find help. If you know that you cannot solve this one, okay, maybe they hack your company website. What are we going to do? You understand? So then that is F. You find help. Then the E stand for evaluate, right? Evaluation or option. You decide what option are we going to use. With various options that you have, you check for which option you are going to use, right? Then you're talking about the R, which is the respond. Then you have to respond to this issue now by using whatever solution that you have, by using them and applying it. If it works, you keep on applying in any other situation that you have that's similar to that one. So I stop here to conceptualize all this one. If you understand everything about conflicts resolution, these are some of the steps that can help you to solve conflicts. And which can lead to conflicts like draws, envy, jealousy, and frustration, discriminations, intimidation, guilt. These are things that can lead to conflicts. So in other way, we can able to control this, and when you are facing those circumstances, you're able to manage it, and for you not to be a victim over that circumstance, you can control your mind and divert it. I stop here.